You're watching Fugitive Redeye, and welcome to another episode of Redeye Raw. Just chilling in the backyard here, got a cigar out here with the dogs. Thought I'd talk about DLC. All this playing of Oblivion has made me think about DLC again, and it's a topic I don't talk about a ton on the channel, so I figured what the hell. So, back in my day, DLC typically involved story add-ons, and DLC is short for downloadable content if for some reason you live under a fucking rock and don't know. But with DLC, back in the day, it used to include basically a whole other game, or at least an add-on that extends it, right? So like with the Elder Scrolls, with Morrowind in particular, you got Blood Moon and Tribunal, which gave you two whole new big quest lines that had whole new areas, and also a bunch of new side quests and stuff. Now, being a console gamer that I am, the only way to get Morrowind with the DLC is to have the Game of the Year edition that already has the DLC included. Obviously, you can download it separately on PC, but there's no point at this point. If you're playing Morrowind without it, what the fuck's wrong with you? Actually, there is one benefit to playing the non-Game of the Year edition. And that benefit is that the Thieves Guild, you can exploit it where you don't have to pay to get your bounty paid off. They patched that when they added on the DLC. I don't know which one specifically patched it, because the Game of the Year edition has a bunch of other quality of life changes, like it added enemy health bars, which were not a thing in the game prior to that, so that's one thing that was kind of a drawback to the original release. But the trade-off was it did patch out some of the exploits that might have been good. Like I said, like, you could drop gold in the older version. You could drop your gold on the ground. You can't do that in the Game of the Year edition. Hopefully that airplane doesn't interfere too much with the video. I just thought, since I'm chilling outside, be cool to record one of these in the backyard at night. But, anyway. So that's the trade-off there, right? Obviously the Game of the Year edition is miles better, because there's just much, much more content. But that's the kind of DLC I liked, right? And then Oblivion, you had Shivering Isles, and you had, apparently Mehrunes Razor was a fucking DLC. I spent $3 to get it back, because I had the Game of the Year edition when I was younger. Don't know where the fuck that DLC disc is, and I don't even know if it would work online, because originally you had to be on the specific account you downloaded it on. Well, not originally, actually. So originally, you installed the DLC on your console, and it would work just fine. But then when we got Xbox Live, we had to be on the account that installed it from the disc, so it removed a bunch of my items, because it's fucking lame like that. And it would give you, like, something that said, unknown item or some shit like that, right? But with that DLC, I hate that they added in that protection later. Like, I get why they did it, but it's like, you own the game, you own the disc, you didn't install it from online, so how the fuck are they gonna know what account is linked to it, especially since it was an offline account we originally played it with. So I've actually, like, the achievements I have from 2011, that's not the earliest I've had in the game. I got the game probably like 2007, 2008, something like that. Whenever, I don't remember exactly when it came out. I didn't get it like right when it came out, but it was still much earlier than when Skyrim came out, which was 2011. But anyway, point is, had Oblivion for a long time. I got it when the Game of the Year edition came out, so there you go. So probably like a year after it came out. We might have gotten it a little bit later than that. I don't remember for sure. Well, we got the Game of the Year edition at GameStop years and years ago, right? And anyway, originally we could all play with the DLC. But then they like patched it when we got Xbox Live, when we converted some of our accounts to live accounts. And that made it so that we had to actually be on the original account that installed it from the disc. And the disc might have been cracked. I know the actual game disc was cracked, like it was broken. Which is why I later on bought another copy. Now I just play it on Game Pass. Since I have Game Pass and it's on there, I figure why the fuck not. But if they ever take it off, I've got the actual disc. But point is, they've added more protections with DLC. Like, for instance, the first ever DLC I ever got, at least actually downloaded, was Sergeant Johnson as a pre-order bonus for Halo ODST when it came out. That's actually the reason I got Xbox Live, was to get Sergeant Johnson in Halo ODST. It's a little fun tidbit there. But you could copy that. You could copy Sergeant Johnson and give it to a ton of people. Like, there was no protection on it at all. You could copy it and give it to your friends. I did that a lot. So all of us had Sergeant Johnson, even though I was the one who pre-ordered it. We tried to do that with the Gears of War 2 Golden Lancer, but what would happen is when you copied it, whoever got the copy would get it, and whoever gave them the copy would lose the rights to it. So it would just be like one that you transferred to the next person, effectively. And then they started making it so you couldn't copy that stuff, which, I get it. And then you had to be on the original account, and it got really annoying. And that started to be a thing. Obviously, everyone has Sergeant Johnson now if they have the MCC, because, well, if you have ODST, which you actually have to pay for as a DLC, unless you had it day one when the game was fucking broken as shit. I mean, it's still broken. Oh, sorry, Evie. Evie's at my feet there. Trying to get stepped on down there, aren't you, girl? But, yeah, everyone has it now, just like everyone has Recon now, and everyone has all the map packs. For Halo 3, I never bought the actual map packs, but ODST came with a disc that had them all, so obviously I had them there. I never bought the map packs for Reach, except for the ones that you got with Halo Anniversary. I didn't buy a lot of map packs. That was another type of DLC where it just gave you multiplayer maps. That's all it did. And I had no problem with it back then. Where I have a problem with DLC nowadays is most of it's like loot boxes or like skins for your fucking weapons or new characters online. And while it's true I bought into some before, and like granted Sergeant Johnson was that, but he didn't cost extra, you just pre-ordered it. Yeah, no, like, back then I was all for it because I thought it was super cool. I used to be a lot more into like console exclusives too, because I was kind of an Xbox fanboy back in the day of the 360. Which I don't think there's any real logic behind. I do think there are benefits to each console. And PC gamers are going to be like, oh, PC's better. I don't care. Whatever. I play what I want. And I do think that PC does have a lot of benefits you can't get anywhere else. But I think that console gaming for me is just more convenient and it's easier. I don't play games as much as I used to. I wouldn't say I'm casual, because I do play for long periods of time when I do play, but I don't play anywhere near as regularly as I used to. But, back in the day, like, when DLC would give you a whole new story add-on, I always thought that was cool. And then map packs I was kind of okay with. I did buy, the complete edition of Mortal Kombat 9, because I wanted, like, Freddy Krueger and stuff, but I didn't want it to buy the DLC. So, and I didn't have the game, I rented it from Gamefly. Who remembers Gamefly? That was a thing, wasn't it? And then I played it. The one thing that pissed me off about the complete edition, though, is you don't have to unlock anything. Whereas, like, Cyber Sub-Zero, you had to unlock originally in the original version. Are you fighting? Be nice. Sorry, the dogs are fighting over a toy. What? 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 You want me to throw that? Come here, Evie. Evie, here. Let me see it. Drop it. Okay, fine. Don't drop it. Stupid bitch. The hell? It went really dark over my face here. That's odd. Yeah, there's a shadow now. Did my cigar go out? God damn it. I know there's a little bit of spark there. But yeah, nowadays there's a lot more DLC, and this shadow keeps going over my face. Apologies for that. It wasn't doing that before. I don't know. Is it the angle I'm standing at? I don't fucking know. Point is, DLC now is like updates, right? Like, every game has constant free updates, and granted, they're free, but they, like, change things a lot. Like, Halo 5 changed what Breakout is, and they've removed features like voting on game types and stuff from Master Chief Collection and whatnot. I don't mind the free updates from time to time. I hate that a game has to be focused on that sort of thing, and I do think that DLC does lead to the fact that a lot of games get released unfinished and then have a day one patch, which is to make the game playable in the fucking first place. But, yeah, I overall don't have any problem with DLC. I guess as long as it's substantive and the game can be played without it, I tend to like it more. Like, if it's like a story add-on, I tend to like that. I can chill out for that. If it's not something that was already in the game and then they just put behind a paywall, which is a notorious thing that developers do now, too. But overall, I've had some fun with DLC back in the day. I played a good chunk of the Shivering Isles. I never beat it. The Tribunal quest line is actually the one I've got the furthest in Morrowind. And I played a good chunk of the Dragonborn quest line in Skyrim, which was the only Skyrim DLC I bought. No, I bought Dragonborn and Hearthfire? I think it's, yeah, Hearthfire, which, Hearthfire sucked dick. All it did was let you build a house. It sucked. I hated it. Oh, and, like, adopt kids and stuff. It was stupid. I don't know why I bought that one. I thought it was something else. Never bought Dawnguard, but I am playing Dawnguard on the Legendary Edition, which comes with all the DLC. Although, once I stream through Oblivion the rest of the way, you guys let me know if you want me to go to Skyrim, or if you want me to go back to Morrowind. And if I go back to Morrowind, do you think I should just start a new save? Because that's probably the easiest way. Just because I have so many different Xboxes with different saves on it, and it's been so long since I played it. But yeah, I like story DLC. Those tend to be my favorite. I'm not a fan of, like, Combat Pass. Like, Mortal Kombat became fucking notorious with that, with Mortal Kombat X. I did pre-order Mortal Kombat X. That's how I got Goro. But I haven't bought any of the other ones. The only one I would even consider shilling out for is Spawn, and since I have such a distaste for Mortal Kombat now, oh, and that's in 11, isn't it? Yeah, that wouldn't even fucking matter. I don't have that game. Because Mortal Kombat 11 sucks cock because it's nothing but garbage now, and it focuses on a bunch of bad new characters. But that's another topic for another time. I've rambled on enough, and the dogs are getting at my legs and being kind of annoying. So I'm going to go ahead and end this one. Have a good one. Toodles.